So we're talking about this recent 16 billion records data breach. Cyber News discovered it recently. It was really a compilation of data stolen from 30 different databases. Some of the more important or predominantly used platforms: Google, Facebook, Microsoft, all of the major platforms you can envision had compromised data stolen from it. Data appears to have been collected over time, so some of it was resurfaced or recycled data that may have already been on the dark web. Some of it was new data, and it was all primarily login and password credential information. Yeah, so again, this wasn't a single source breach. Again, it was really a compilation of previously stolen data, some of it new, some of it resurfaced, some of it already on the dark web. It was most likely a result of the InfoStealer malware. Most of the data harvested by malware, it captures credentials on the infected devices. There's likely some duplicates. Likely many of the 16 billion records are resurfaced or restolen duplicate information. As far as the data sets, there's brief exposure. The data sets were only exposed for a short period of time, but long enough to steal all the information that was needed. Well, certainly phishing and spear phishing attacks, and specifically within that credential stuffing. So attackers can use the credentials by logging into other services. Again, phishing and scams, so they can use that information for targeted scams. You know, one example might be they know the information of your bank and they disguise a deceptive inquiry from your bank saying we're changing account information, and they send it via text. Your bank would never contact you that way, so that's always a risk. And then of course business email compromise, right? So dangerous for organizations. This is where attackers can impersonate employees or executives. So those are some of the biggest risks and implications. Step one: change your passwords, right? And you got to be smart about what you do to change your passwords, right? You don't want to use shorter, like 6 or 8 character passwords. You don't want to use passwords with your first or last name in it, parts of your social security number. You don't want to reuse passwords. Change your passwords, especially for your weak ones. You want to be pretty systematic, especially related to this particular breach. You want to definitely change your Microsoft Office password. You want to change your Gmail and Google passwords. You want to change your Facebook and Instagram passwords. You want to change your Apple ID password. And then for good measure, I would go ahead and change your online banking password. There are even some government data sets that were stolen as well, right? Change the passwords. We always recommend at least a 12-character password. It can go as high as 16. And then you'll want to use @ ampersand, uppercase, lowercase, a good mix of case-sensitive digits in the password as well. You also want to use a password manager. I know there's been pushback on these. I know many of them are attached to the cloud. There are ways to just use local password managers, store the data locally, back it up to a local backup solution as well. But you definitely want to use a password manager. I particularly use Dashlane. Keeper is another one that we use corporately in our business. And those password managers also have the ability to generate complex passwords for you, and I would recommend using that. Another really good best practice is enable MFA or multi-factor authentication. Folks, this is one of the most important and critical steps you can take in securing your personal and business data is enabling MFA. So that's where you go to log into your Microsoft account, and then it prompts you on your phone to validate either through entering of a code that you receive text or using a password generator manager application from your phone. But either way, that second form of validation on your mobile phone, super critical. There's even some newer technology, YubiKey and wearable technology people are using, wearing rings, necklaces, things of that nature that will serve as a form of MFA and allow you to authenticate locally, but definitely want to use that as well. Monitor your accounts. I use the free version of Credit Karma. There are other versions out there that are really good, paid versions or subscription versions. It does send periodic reports. You can check your credit scores, and you can check open and revolving lines of credit, and you'll see when new lines of credit are open. And so that's why that's a very important step. You also want to check if your credentials were exposed. There are different services out there that you can check. Have I been pawned is one, for instance. There are a few others out there where you can Google those services, enter some information, basic information into a database. But yeah, those are 5 critical steps you should take just in general, not always after a breach, but this is a historic breach of epic proportion. So again, just to reiterate, change your passwords, implement a password manager, enable multi-factor authentication, monitor your accounts, and check to see if you've been exposed. Thank you so much. And check out our website at avatarmanagedservices.com for more tips and tricks and information about how we can keep you guys secure.